Welcome to Filmfest Bremen studio. My name is Ilona. I'm the artistic director of Filmfest Bremen, and it's my pleasure to talk to Viv Lee right now, a filmmaker who's in competition in the innovation section with her short film I Don't Feel at Home Anywhere Anymore. Hi, Viv.
Hello, Ilona.
So your film is featured in innovation, and there is a lot of reasons for it we are going to talk about. But first of all, I think the starting point has to be it is a very personal movie. So,
Yes.
yes. And obviously also a very artistic movie, but tell us a little bit about your approach, how to sort of like make such a personal movie about your own family and not offend anyone. Or did they watch the film and what was their reaction to it? Because I can think that must have been an interesting experience for you.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
How to make a personal film? I think I still don't know how to answer this question because it's still very difficult. Right now, I'm making my first feature film that is also about my sexuality and gender. I thought it's gonna be easy because it's me and I'm always available for me. But the thing is, you're gonna get to some dark places. And I think with this short film, I also did go somewhere that I normally would like stay away. I think the distance of the camera really give me a chance to look at myself and my life and people around me. So yeah, I would say that it's very important to be able to see the ugly side of yourself. I always have problem with my face because I think it's too big. But in this film, I just let it go. So I think maybe that's why.
Did you obviously showed it to your family? What was their reaction to the film?
To be honest, I never really showed it to my family.
Okay.
My mom didn't really want to. My film screened in China, in Beijing, but my mom didn't really want to watch it because she read the description and the Chinese name title of the film is I Am Slowly Disappearing at Home. And she felt that it's really sad. She's obviously very happy that the film can reach out to a lot of people in the world, but she said, I don't want to watch it because it's going to make me feel sad.
And there is the one sentence in the film which I found very striking because it kind of covers this ambivalence, and it's when we are not in Beijing, we miss it a lot, but if we stay there longer, we go crazy. And I feel this ambivalent relationship, it's kind of the center of the film.
Yeah. I think this is also something that I realized when I look at the footage. I just look at it and I realize that I'm not talking to many people. Most of the time, I'm just feeling awkward inside of the frame. I just felt like I never thought that I would look such like an outsider in my own home. But obviously, globalization made us all a bit floating in this world. So I think my experience is actually quite relevant to a lot of people like all over the world right now.
I found it very relatable also as someone who has lived in different places and countries. At one point, you get to the point where you feel at home everywhere or nowhere. And it's a very fine line. And so this kind of like also, you take us to different like restaurants, you take us getting a massage. We are in your living room, seeing you interact with your family members. And it's like almost like the camera is observing everything. So there's a bit of a distance, but what I also find absolute genius about the film is your way of not subtitling the conversations that take place, but giving us a short summary, sort of just a one sentence of what is going on in that scene. I haven't seen this before. This is, I was very intrigued by that concept. How did you come up with this method?
So it came as a kind of an accident. So actually, when I was filming this film, I was studying in Brussels. And then I was really struggling with my film when I was filming there. So I decided to go on a 9-day trip back home just to eat. And then so I went there and I shot everything. I came back and I was showing the footage to my mentors. but I didn't have time to subtitle it yet. So I was just explaining them in like very short sentences. And they found that very interesting because they felt like they are with me in China. And I'm explaining them everything without them knowing much. And they actually had the chance to focus on details of our like subtle movements. And I think our facial expressions in China, we don't talk so much, so not much is conveyed through the conversation. And then I found that quite interesting. I did subtitle the film later on and did a test screening, but people found the non-subtitle one more intriguing. But it's very interesting because some people like absolutely hate it. Some people told me, yeah, I don't think this works for me. But people who like it really found something interesting through this. So I guess sometimes there's no the best way to do things.
But I think it gives a lot of power to the people watching the film, because then you observe differently, or you look, else you're just reading the entire time. And this way you observe what's actually happening more, but through the lens of what is being said to you on the screen in that one sentence. So also, the film is very sad in a lot of places, I feel. Like there's this definite feeling of disconnect, and also the longing of feeling connected. But there's also a lot of humor in it, which is a saving grace in all of it. So how does it reflect your personality? Is humor what saves you in these kind of situations?
Yeah, I'm a deeply pessimistic person, but I'm also a comedian. And I actually learned, like, I think somebody, I can't remember who said this, but I think it's the ultimate truth, is that the best humor will make you laugh at first and then make you cry in the end. So I think the things that we could laugh at or that could have humor in it are often sad. And I think all the things that at home, that experience that I could laugh at, or it actually shows that I am disconnected with my home. So yeah, so I think actually the humor and the sadness together is the best way to convey this feeling in my film.
And I also found like one scene I found particularly also disturbing was when you were getting the massage, and then you tell us in the description what the conversation is about, or what he's kind of saying about your state of health and all of these things. So it's kind of in one way like overstepping all of your personal boundaries and being really rude, and at the same time it's absurd and funny in a very sort of cringy way. So but just watching the scene, you would never guess that context or that conversation being part of this experience. So yeah. That scene I found, is that normal to have these kind of like interactions with people? Is that normal for Chinese culture?
It's very normal for a foot masseuse. So if you haven't tried one, I highly recommend. He will tell you all your health history and stuff like that.
So from a European point of view, it was overstepping like every personal boundary anyone could have. So for me, it was really interesting, and you stayed very calm, and he continued doing the job, and it seemed very normal, and then the sentence made it seem absolutely not normal for here. So it is this very interesting thing. This is what I meant about the sort of summaries instead of the subtitles. It leaves room for your own experience also to be part of this, and to have a distance to what is happening, and to question what is happening, and relate more. So yeah, it's beautifully crafted. For me, it works this way, absolutely.
Thank you.
So, and the final shot of the movie, obviously, where you have the glass container and you throw out the old bottles or used bottles, and you see the store facade which just reads home in the background. This is a very arty framed, visual. So you are actually studying, or you did study art, or where exactly did you study?
Oh, I studied in Dortmund at a master degree in documentary, but we go to Lisbon, Budapest, and Brussels for 3 different semesters. And that semester I was in Brussels. So it is indeed an art school. I remember that I just walked by because I always have to recycle there. And there's 2 things that I found quite interesting there. One is the sign home, obviously. And the other one is that in Europe, sometimes where you throw the recycled things, it actually is very deep. So you don't know that it's deep. So the sound of the bottles cracking is delayed. And for me, it's also that was when I went back home. And I also realized that that's when I went back to Brussels. That's also when I realized, oh, it's kind of sad and I miss home. So I feel like my emotion was a bit delayed. So there was that scene I was thinking about, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautifully made. This stood out to me as well. So thank you for being part of this year's innovation competition. Thank you for submitting your film. And I hope we get to see many more works from you in the future.
I hope so too. Thank you very much for inviting me.